We are making our own story as we go, as we go, as we go. Hoping, we are hoping that we'll go so happy ever after, happy ever after.
Hi, welcome to Your Dream Day podcast. I'm your host, Kathy Piech-Lukas, and today we are having part 2 of a 2-part podcast about Wendy's Wedding Expo, which is going to be happening on January 6th and 7th at the Duke Energy Convention Center in downtown Cincinnati. You can get your tickets online at wendysweddingexpo.com. Tickets in advance are going to be $10, whereas at the door they'll be $12. So every bride has a budget, and we are trying to contribute little by little to keeping that budget in check, right?
That's right.
But one of the things that's very, very unique about Wendy's is the fashion show.
Yes, we do a full production runway fashion show with dresses from our store, Wendy's Bridal, which is in the heart of the Reading Bridal District. It's a lot of fun, it's a lot of music, it's professional models. We bring our best dresses, and the girls just love to see the dresses move on the runway. They take snapshots of their favorites so that when they make the appointment to come in the store, they can have an idea of, can you show me this dress, or is there something similar? Or, it's just a great way to begin your wedding dress shopping.
No, absolutely. And when the brides go on that wedding dress shopping trip, what are some things that they should do?
First thing is make an appointment. If the appointment guarantees that you have a sales associate that's dedicated to you, that you have a spot in front of the mirror, that you have a dressing room, that you have someone that will have the time just for you to help you find the dresses. And what they'll do is initially have you pick out a few that you like, that match, what you envision. And then once you put those on, they may have other suggestions. And please go with that, because when the dress is on you, it may not be the same as what you were thinking, but they can get an idea from that of, we have a dress that accentuates this or adds this to the vision of what you thought this was going to look like.
Yeah, so if the sales rep brings you a dress that you kind of, okay, well, that's not like the picture that I showed you, but just try it on for kicks and giggles.
Right.
Because that's what happened to me. When I was gung-ho that I was going to have spaghetti straps. That's what every picture I was tearing out was a spaghetti strap dress. And when I was trying on my wedding dresses, the sales associate brought a strapless dress. And I'm like, I don't know if I want a strapless dress because I've got swimmer shoulders, And I tried it on, and it fit like a glove. It complemented my figure.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 3 things happened. The 3 things when you find the dress. So first you start swishing in it, and then you start petting your hips and checking yourself out in the mirror. Then you don't want to take it off.
Right, and then you cry.
And then usually if you're going to cry, it happens shortly after that. And usually it's somebody in the entourage that starts crying, and then that just starts the whole Niagara Falls process.
Right, and when you do make your appointment, make sure you're bringing the people that are most important to you.
Absolutely.
You may think, I'm just beginning, I'm just shopping, and I'm going to check it out. It is very likely that you might find the dress on your first trip shopping, and you don't want, if it's mom, you want mom to be there. You can't reenact that moment of putting on that dress and showing it to someone for the first time. And
they can make a day out of it. I mean, one of the things that's so great about Wendy's Bridal is it's located in the Reading Bridal District, which is the largest bridal district of its kind in North America.
People come from hundreds of miles, which is why you need the appointment. Especially on a weekend. A weekday, we could probably do a walk-in, but on a weekend, you definitely need an appointment.
What are some of the dresses that you're seeing brides walking out the door with? What is hot in 2024?
Well, it's funny because hot does change, but there's always the classics. There's always the satins. The strapless is a wonderful silhouette for a lot of women. Fitted, kind of fit and flare, the big ball gowns. We have all of those, and those all fit everybody's budget and style, so we want to be able to offer those. But also things like detachable sleeves change the whole look of a dress. It's funny how you wouldn't think so, but you slip that sleeve on, and most of them are lace sleeves, and they're beautiful. Or especially winter wedding, if you put the little fur stole on, there's all and a sparkly belt. There's all kinds of ways to personalize the dress to make it even more yours.
And that was one of the things we definitely saw in 2023 was the changing of the dress from the ceremony to the reception. And what's so nice about this sleeve trend is that it is like having two dresses in one.
Yes, because it really does change the look. And so you can be more, depending on your ceremony style, but certainly maybe a little more refined and then a little more fun. And people do that with shoes too. They have their shoes for the ceremony and then they have their shoes for the reception because you want to be comfortable at your reception.
Oh, and actually speaking of different shoes, when you go to your final fitting, bring both pairs.
Well, when you come to your first alterations appointment,
Yeah.
you need to have the shoes and the undergarments, and if it's multiple shoes, because your seamstress does need to know how to do a bustle, how to fit the dress for the length that you're going to be. Bring someone that is teachable to know how to do the bustle. There is a skill to that, and there's different kinds of bustles. So whoever's going to help you bustle that day needs to come to your final fitting.
Well, and the two bustles that I see the most as a wedding planner are the French bustle, which is a fancy way of saying the ties underneath the dress. And then the other one is more of like a hook,
Yes,
or
an
a
American
button,
bustle, yeah.
or a button, which would be an American bustle. The most I've ever had was 30.
Oh my! So you have to plan in the day of the wedding. You have to plan 15 minutes to bustle.
Oh,
the gown.
that one we
Yes.
definitely. I mean, that one took about 20 minutes. It was a designer dress, and literally we had her get on her knees in the middle of the floor,
my.
and that. We had to go around because the bustle was
All the way, yes.
was a 360, and we had to
Wow.
to do it that way. Yeah, it was interesting.
Well, and that's part of the dress being a part of the wedding, actually. I mean, and that when you come, you'll see a dress on a hanger or even on a mannequin. It's not the dress until it's on you, and it moves with you, and the way the dress moves. And that's one thing you see at the fashion show too.
Yeah.
The dress is in motion.
It's a person.
Yes, absolutely. Well, climbing into the car with it, you'll realize that.
Oh yes. If you have a big ball gown style wedding dress, you need to accommodate for two people inside that party bus or limousine because it takes up space. But what are some of the things that we'll see on the runway? What styles in particular?
You'll see styles for all sizes, all body types. The Essence of Australia is the main line that we carry, and so you'll see lots of those. Some more simple dresses if you are planning a more simple ceremony. That the dress fits. You can have a fancy ball gown at a rustic wedding. That's perfectly fine. But sometimes people want the style of the dress if it's a little more bohemian, or if it's a destination wedding. So you'll find something for everyone.
Well, and the other thing too with your wedding dress, it should be one of the first things that you do.
It's also one of the first things that a bride wants to do also.
Yeah. Well, reason is because it takes time for that custom dress to come in.
Yes. I would say you should be a year out. Can do 6 months, that's kind of tight. You do not want to be in a position where you're worried about the dress coming in on time to do your alterations or having to pay rush fees. So if you could be a year out, that's really the ideal time.
Well, the other reason for that is if you haven't picked your dress, it's hard to pick your bouquet because your bouquet complements the dress. And if you have a dress that has a lot of detail in it, and then you have a bouquet that has a lot of structured, very structured but free flowy, it doesn't look right. And so you really want to make sure that you pick the dress before you go visit your florist.
Right. But that's also the job of the florist, if you have the right florist, to again see your vision of this is the style of the dress, this is how I want the tables, then my flowers to match that, and the rest of my bridal party to put that all together.
The other thing I've seen in the past is where the bakery will actually take the design of the wedding dress and they'll incorporate that into the design of the cake. It looks so cool when you do
where
that.
the lace from your gown is matched on the icing of the cake. It's amazing what they can do.
And I've also had some clients that after they have their dress altered and there's scraps from the bottom of the dress, they'll put that as part of the wrap of their bouquet. So there's a lot that you can.
Oh, there is. And then incorporate mementos from grandma maybe in the bouquet, or there's just so many ideas and things to do. And that's why it's fun to plan the wedding. It's fun to take the time to put all those little thoughts into it to make it really special and personal.
Absolutely. Well, and the other thing too is bring your camera to Wendy's Wedding Expo, because again, how these dresses move on the runway is going to inspire you one way or the other as to, do I see myself in this dress? Can I see myself dancing in this dress? Because really that's what the dress is doing when it's on the runway. It's dancing.
Right. It's the movement.
Absolutely. So, well, wonderful. How can people get tickets to Wendy's Wedding Expo?
Wendy'sWeddingExpo.com, $10 online. That's a discount, $12 at the door.
And what time are the fashion shows?
Fashion shows on Saturday are noon and 3, Sunday 3 p.m.
Okay, fantastic. So if you're going to head out to Wendy's Wedding Expo, make sure that you know the time of that fashion show, because it's going to be one of the few that you see in Greater Cincinnati this wedding season. So Mardi, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for joining us, and be sure to tune into future podcasts at yourdreamday.com and subscribe. Thanks so much, and happy planning.